What up, B Squad? It is your boy JB, and we are here today, you guys, with the season finale. Thank God it's here of Sistas on BET, you guys. So, this is going to be season 7, episode number 22, and this episode was titled Had It Coming. And before we get into it, you guys, if you guys are watching this video or any other on the channel, and you guys aren't subscribed yet, I need you guys to do me a solid favor and stop taking me out on this date and having me pay for it at the end of it. You guys know the routine. You can do me that favor by liking the video, subscribing to the channel, and also by turning on your post notifications, you guys. And with that out of the way, without further ado, let's discuss this episode of Sistas, shall we? All right, you guys. So I know I didn't do last week's episode, and I thought about it. I watched the episode one time, then I went back to watch it to do my notes, and I was like, and I did my notes last week, and then I got to the point where I was like, you know what, I don't really want to review this week's episode, so we did not do last week's episode. This week's episode, which is the season finale, it was an interesting finale to say the least. Also, let me know in the comment section because I did not see it on the episode that I watched last night. If excuse me, y'all, if they said when Sisters is scheduled to come back for this season 8, but yeah, you guys, this episode, I want you guys to tell me what you guys thought about this episode because it was a rather interesting episode. Um, yeah, I just really don't know how I felt about it. It was lackluster, anticlimactic because I saw the writings on the wall when I first started watching the episode. I caught on to what they were doing, and it was very obvious and evident where they were going. So the episode opens where we last left off in last week's episode with Rich busting into the room on Damani and Sabrina, insisting that he now wants to provide Sabrina with his sperm. And I was like, very interesting. And my thing with Rich is literally just doing this all out of jealousy because he feels that Damani wants a relationship with Sabrina, and that is the reason that Damani is potentially trying to provide his sperm to Sabrina, which could be true. But the thing with you, Rich, is you're in a relationship with Sabrina. Sabrina told you she wants to have kids. Sabrina told you she was going through this process. So, what did you think she was going to do if her boyfriend is telling her he doesn't want to do this? 9 times out of 10, she's going to have to go, unless she's cheating on you, she's going to have to go find a sperm donor. So, I don't know what Rich was thinking. But, this was very unorthodox and everything. And so the doctor told Sabrina, like, girl, you need to calm down. I want you to be calm, but it's a very short window for us to get this done, right? And it's a very short window for us to get this done. So she just told Sabrina, you can go. And Sabrina, like, you know what? I'm going to put my clothes on. I'm very embarrassed. I'm going to apologize to Damani. And she's going to talk to Rich when she gets home. And so I was like, girl, you need to break up with him, but that's neither here nor there. But let me know what you guys thought about that particular scene, and we'll move on to the next scene, you guys. All right, you guys. So next up, we see Ms. Marie. So Ms. Marie went down to the law office, and she's talking to Hayden, right? Just asking Hayden, like, what you got for me? Like, am I going to be able to keep my money? And Hayden is letting her know, like, so the direction that we were thinking of going with the assistant, we may not be able to go that direction, right? So then Andy came in, and Andy told Miss Marie, like, Miss Marie, I have some information for you. She said, you're going to be able to keep your money in everything. So she shows Miss Marie a folder. And so in the folder, you guys remember, oh, wait, I didn't review last week's episode. So in last week's episode, Maurice let it be known that Miss Marie's soon-to-be ex-husband is one of his clients when he was doing that OnlyFans type thing, right? So that's when Andy presented to her, and Miss Marie was so ecstatic, right? And I was so confused because here's my thing with Miss Marie. So yes, your husband cheated on you, but girl, in the same breath, you cheated on him too with Hayden, your own attorney. So I'm just a little perturbed and a little confused about the situation. But who am I to say boo? Who am I to say cat, dog, anything of the sorts, right? I ain't got no room to judge nobody. But I was just confused by that. So Hayden, Ms. Marie excused Hayden from the office, right? And when she excused him, it was just her and Andy in there. So she was telling Andy, like, hey, I need to thank Jordan for all the work that he has done, for getting her where she is, right? And Andy's face she had this long look on her face, and I was like, girl, you just want everybody to know that you just is in the dumps, right? So Ms. Marie asked her, like, so what's going on? And Andy was like, oh, it's just life. And Ms. Marie was like, girl, cut the crap. Tell me what the real tea is, right? So Andy finally told Ms. Marie about Gary forcing her to marry him. And so Ms. Marie was like, she's gonna talk to the partners about Andy. And she says also she'll see what she can do when it comes to Gary. So keep that in the back of your noggin real quick. So then we see as Ms. Marie left Andy's office to go to Hayden's office, she was trying to entice him to an afternoon snack. And I was like, ew. And she made the sound effect too. So Hayden was in his feelings. He's like, what was that shit earlier with the girl power and stuff? And Ms. Marie basically told him, like, you tripping, Hayden. She's like, I didn't take that, I didn't peg you to be that person, right? So what happened after that is he was like, I'm busting my ass for you. She was like, you are busting your ass for the check. So cut the crap. And she's like, and Andy delivered and you didn't. And he was like, well, I must be delivering something because your ass, I was in here begging. And Miss Marie looked at him like, nigga, I know you lying. And she said, boy, you ain't even in my league. She said, messing with you was just charity. I was like, oh, I know that hurt his ego. Hayden, you might want to go be celibate, bro, because this is now what the third woman who's talked about your penis size and how small you are. Hayden, hang it up flat screen, my good dude, because everybody just clowns on you. And do I feel bad for Hayden? Absolutely not. Like, I don't feel nothing for Hayden because Hayden is getting what Hayden deserves. And that is all I got to say when it comes to Hayden. So he was like, well, I'll go to the blogs and tell the blogs that you were sleeping with your attorney. Miss Marie was like, look her little nigga, don't threaten me with that. She's like, I'll spill my own tea. And then in the process of it, I'll tell them all the nasty, kinky stuff that you like to be done with you, right? And I was like, oh, I know you feeling extra crispy, crunchy over there, Hayden. Mm, so sorry for you, right? So then we move to the next scene with Zach and Fatima. So Fatima went upstairs. I guess this is after she went to go confront Gary and his guy pushed her down. So Zach, I don't know who you were talking to because you asked her where she had been. And I was like, excuse you, Zach, who you talking to? Run that back. And Fatima had to tell him, Zach, don't talk to me like that. I mean, I get it that he was concerned about Fatima, but it's a way that because she says she came in the house, she wasn't answering the phone calls and anything of that nature. So I get that he was concerned about Fatima, but it was the way that he talked to Fatima for me. I would have been like, oh, hell no, Zach, you don't feel and bumped your head because I don't know who you think you're talking to, but you better lose some of that cussing and some of that bass out of your voice because it ain't finna fly over here, Captain Jack. Like, it absolutely ain't finna fly over this way. So he finally calmed down. And again, like I said, I get it. Zach is being protective of Fatima. Absolutely understand it. Fatima did tell him that she went to go see Gary and that, you know, it got physical. He was like, it got physical. She's like, well, what happened is Gary's security pushed her down. So Zach was ready to go over there and take Gary down, right? And Fatima was like, no, Zach, because you have way too much to lose. You got the twins and you got Michael. So she was like, we're gonna do it my way. He was like, okay, so we're gonna do it your way. I hollered at that scene. Now the next scene we got is Ms. Marie. It was a quick throwaway scene. Ms. Marie and Pam. Basically, Ms. Marie told Pam she liked the roots to riches thing. and it had her edges laid. I was like, girl, what edges? Because that's a wig, but neither here nor there. But Ms. Marie told her that she is interested in investing in Pam's roots to riches and making roots to riches richer. Now we see Andy with Mr. Benson in a conference room, and Mr. Benson is letting Andy know that he talked to Ms. Marie. I don't know why he felt the need to bring up. Here's the thing: anything that's happened with Andy ain't really been her fault in that company, in that law office, except for the fact that she was sleeping with Gary and she represented Jasmine. That's the only thing. Now the shit with Gary and the FBI coming there, that ain't got nothing to do with her. Y'all wanted to link her to that because she just had a relationship with Gary. But at the end of the day, that had nothing to do with Andy. Like, let's be real about the situation. Now, he's telling Andy that Ms. Marie is bringing all of her legal businesses to Benson, whatever the other name is, and Barnes. And she's like, wait, Barnes? He was like, yeah, he wants to make her a partner, but they still have to go through negotiations, right? So Andy was celebrating in the office, in the conference room, right? And Hayden's coming by talking about, basically he's trying to take credit for that case with Ms. Marie. I was like, Hayden, the only thing you can take credit for with this case with Ms. Marie is the fact that you slept with Ms. Marie, and that is highly unethical. That is I mean, this. Well, you know what though? Thinking about this office is completely unethical because Andy was sleeping with Gary, who was divorcing Jasmine, and she was being represented. Like, this is highly unethical. I just thought about that. So hell, neither one of them should have been promoted to full partner. But hey, it is what it is. Andy was gloating and rubbing it in Hayden's face, and I was 100% here for it. But I want you guys to tell me what you guys thought, and we'll discuss it in the comment section below. But what we're gonna do here is move on to the next scene, you guys. All right, you guys. So next up, we move over to Child Rich and Sabrina. We're gonna breeze through this thing. Sabrina, break up with Rich. Like, that's really all I got, because I don't understand why Sabrina can't see it. The only reason Rich now wants to have kids with you is because he didn't want you to be with another man. But again, what the hell did he think was going to happen if your girlfriend, the woman you claim to love, is telling you, I'm going to go through the IVF process? You sitting here telling her, you don't want kids. Where else do you think she's going to come up with a baby? Immaculate conception? Like, I'm, God, Rich and Tony are two characters that I just do not absolutely like. But I'm like, dude, you saying you're only saying this because you didn't want to lose Sabrina. He's like, I I want you more than I don't want kids. I was like, girl, bullshit. But you know what, Sabrina liked it. I love it. It is what it is. Next scene we got is Hayden with Tamara. Now Hayden got home and he's basically telling Tamara, like, girl, you don't do shit all day. Like, you could at least clean up the damn house, have a home cooked meal for me. I was like, oh, so you want a stepfoot wife, huh? And then she's like, well, why don't you go tell that gray pubic hair bitch that you looking for a maid? I was like, girl, shut up. Her acting is terrible too. She said, then she also said she doesn't have a ring on her finger. Now, somebody please clear this up for me in the comment section, because I don't remember when they got a divorce. I don't remember Hayden and Tamara getting a divorce. Like, that's not something that I remember. But if it did happen, then and I missed it, y'all can feel free to be like, yeah, JB, it happened in season such and such, or whatever. Because I swear for the life of me, I don't remember these two getting a divorce. I remember them talking about the annulment, but she was doing her damnedest to talk him out of doing it. But I just don't remember them getting a divorce. I really truly don't remember them getting a divorce. But yeah, you guys, that's it. Oh no, it's not it. Because he finally went through her phone and he saw the video of her with Gary. I was like, ooh, my okay. This is interesting. I was like, let's see how this play out. So after that, we move on to the next scene because she told him everything about Gary. She tried to lie, but she finally had to confess, yeah, I've been sleeping with Gary, da 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 da. And he told her to get out. Next scene is with Tony and Danny. We're gonna breeze through this scene too because it wasn't nothing for me to talk about. So Tony basically let Danny know that hey, he apologized for not, being there for her with the situation with Tiffany. He didn't do right by her. Tiffany is gone, and Danny was like, she passed away. He was like, no, she's moving to Italy. She's like, oh, okay. He said, and the kids are going with her. She says, thank God. She said, thank God that she's not deceased, right? I was like, girl, you mean thank God them kids is leaving too? You know what? Never mind. I was gonna say something, but I don't care. I don't care. That's it. Let me know what you guys think. Next up, Andy. So Andy is on her way to this wedding with Gary, and she called up Jordan and left a voicemail for Jordan on the phone, letting Jordan know she loves him. That the next time he sees her, she will be married to Gary. She's doing this to protect him. I was like, Andy, you had ample opportunity to say this shit to his face weeks ago. Well, I don't even know if it's weeks. For us, it's been weeks. Probably for them, it's been hours ago. Like in the last, well, no, it's been weeks because it was 2 weeks in the last episode that I reviewed. Girl, you've had time to tell him that Gary bugged his place and your place. Gary is blackmailing you into marrying him, forcing you, whatever you want to call it. Next scene, Karen is with the girls, right? So Karen is letting the girls know that she knows when Gary and Andy's wedding is. It's actually that day. She just, however, doesn't know where the location of the wedding is going to be, right? And I was like, okay, girl, whatever. So they're talking about, Sabrina says, well, maybe Andy does love him. I was like, girl, she don't love that man. She does not love Gary, but hey, whatever. Danny is talking about, hurting Gary in the permanent form. I was like, I'm all here for a girlfriend. But Sabrina's like, Andy, I mean, not Andy, but Danny, we can't do that. Karen is pregnant. And when you do that to someone, you go to jail, which is correct. You do. But, like Danny says, self defense. I'm out here for it. So they called up Fatima, who was on the phone trying to talk to Madam, but Madam was already tied up with something else. And so whoever she talked to, I think it's Madam's right hand. What is her name? Blue or something like that? Whatever Madam's right hand man name is. Y'all know it. I don't. She called up Madam's right hand, and like I said, Madam will call her back when she's done. So Fatima then talks to the girls. They ask her if she knows where Andy's, the location of where Andy is getting married at. So Fatima does know because Andy is on Andy's calendar and she got a reminder about it. So Fatima saw it. So Fatima said that she's gonna send it to the girls. And so we see as Fatima went upstairs because she told Zach, like, we gotta go. If they got something planned, we need to be there. So then we see Andy. She's with Gary. She wants to talk to him, and she said that they don't have to do this and that she won't testify against him. He said, no. And he once again threatened to ruin Jordan's life, which, like I've said plenty of times before, this thing, I get part of it. The fact of his campaign money would be ran by illegal funds. I get that part. But as far as the cartel coming after Jordan, I don't see why they would do that when Gary was the one who got the money from the cartel and Gary is the one who gave Jordan the money. It's not like he stole the money. But then also with the cartel, I think that would work in their benefit to have somebody on city council, like you have a government official that you could quote unquote have in your pocket. But okay, whatever. So Gary told her to sign the certificate. She's like, "Oh no, baby, we have to do that after the wedding." So he told her, "You and your friends better not try anything." And I was like, "Or what, Gary? Who you scaring?" So she was like, "Let's work something out." And Gary told her, "Absolutely, hell no." I was like, "Ugh." He said, "The only thing I want you to work out is, getting that look off your face and smiling for our fucking pictures." I was like, "Girl, punch this nigga in the throat. Throat check this nigga." So then we see Hayden's little weak ass. He called Gary up, right? Gary told him he's getting married, and he figured out that it was to Andy. So Gary invited Hayden and Tamara down, right? And Hayden was like, "Nah, we're not seeing eye to eye with each other right now." And Gary said, "I told you that bitch was no good." And so I was like, you don't know that your boy over here know that you done slept with his wife. So he really pissed at this point, right? So he said, you know what, Gary, I'm gonna come down. And so he hung up the phone with Gary, and also he was crying, and then he just started punching at the steering wheel. I was like, sir, what has that steering wheel done to you? But it is what it is, right? So then we get down to the venue. Everyone's, Danny shows up, and Danny shows up to Danny shows up, Karen shows up, and Sabrina, right? Then we see, oh boy, what's his name? Hudson, right? Hudson is trying to tell them to leave, and Hudson's trying to tell him to leave, right? And then when he tried that, Andy was like, I got this, because the girls were like, we ain't going nowhere. And Karen's like, you want to drag a pregnant woman out of here? Because I'll record it. So Hudson ended up leaving. So the girls were basically trying to talk to Andy and talk her out of this. Andy is telling them that this is what she wants to do. And then Jordan comes in, right? So Jordan and Andy are talking because he heard her voicemail. She lets him know she loves him and that she's doing this to protect him. And that, he was like, well, I can get us a plane ticket tonight and get us out of here. She's like, your life is here in Atlanta, so you need to stay here. And then he was like, if you won't fight for us, then I'll go and fight for us, talking about Gary. So then we see some time elapsed because they showed some montage of what's her name, Andy and Jordan, right? So we see Andy and Hudson at the altar. They're waiting for Gary. And then we see as Andy went back to the room the dressing room where they were earlier, and there is Gary lying on the ground with a knife stuck in him. Now, y'all, the end of this episode, I hollered because the screaming that Andy did was terrible. I was like, girl, that's the best you can do. It was given from Victoria from damn what halves and a half nots when she fake screamed that one time, that one episode. That's what it was given. And I was like, okay, goodbye and good night. But yeah, you guys, that was the season finale of what's this show? Sistas. I wasn't really feeling it, but it is what it is. Let me know what you guys thought about it in the comments below. Subscribe to the channel, turn on your post notifications, share the video, you guys. And until the next time, stay safe, take care of yourselves, wash your hands, be blessed, and I will catch you guys in the next one. Now, I know I said I'm done with this show, and as of right now, I'm solid on that. I did see some comments that kind of tug at my heartstrings a little bit. The fact that you guys like the videos and enjoy the content, that kind of tugged at my heartstrings just a little bit, and it made me second guess myself. But what I will say right now, I won't say it's completely done. What I will say is if I even do continue with Sisters, don't expect videos every week. That is the one thing I will say. Don't expect them every single week because it might not happen because I'm liable to forget about it. Because only reason why I remembered it last night was because I saw somebody mention Sisters because the week last week I didn't watch the episode until 2 days later, which was last Friday that I watched the episode because I forgot all about the episode. But yeah, you guys, I'll see you guys for something else. Again, like I said, don't hold me to coming back for season 8 of Sisters, but I'm not going to just completely sign off and say I'm officially done because I don't know what I'm going to do. But I'll see you guys for something else. Bye, guys.